Yo, baby daddy sit down when he piss. What's up?
What's good, dude?
We're here. Episode 23 of ArachNerds, brought to you by Fulvius Apparel, fulviusapparel.com. Use the code THN at checkout. You grab yourself some shirts, some hats, some hoodies, coffee mugs. Weather's cold. It's coffee weather. I like iced coffee even when it's cold outside.
Hoodie weather.
Yeah. So use code THN at checkout. Gets you 15% off your order. That is the exclusive promo code for THN listeners and viewers like you. And then head on over to the Tarantula Addicts Discord. It's discord.gg/TA. An awesome community of awesome people.
A lot of cool stuff happening.
A lot of the benefits of Facebook groups and the community aspect, but none of the brutalness of our species.
And there's giveaways. We just did a giveaway.
We did just do a giveaway.
So that was kind of cool.
It was. And I'm sure we'll be doing more of those. It'd be cool to do one like quarterly or whatever. We'll talk to Dritz about it and sort of set something up. It'd just be cool to do, make it a regular thing.
What would you say if I told you we were already thinking about it?
I wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I'm down. But we're here. This episode, we're going to be talking about Centipedes with Matt Schalk. Phil's been chomping at the bit for some Centipede action. So
yeah, just to spice things up, there's a lot of people. There's a few people that like Centipedes.
It's such a weird thing because like you see them at shows regularly, like they're commonly available. Mm-hmm. A lot of them are mislabeled in terms of like what they actually are. There's really
most of them are wild caught.
Yeah, and then there's so few people really putting time and effort into them and like trying to captive breed some stuff, and like it's just odd. There's this very, very large gap between stuff that comes in and like the numbers that stuff is coming in at, and then the people that are like seriously pursuing it and trying to make something out of it.
I strongly agree, and I've had to look significantly harder for any information regarding centipedes. I feel like I know there are a lot more books out there on tarantulas and just information available on tarantulas comparatively.
I mean, even then, there's really not that many tarantula books.
Exactly. So compared to like snakes and stuff, you know what I mean? It's like,
it's just bizarre because they just, like I said, you see them at shows, and centipedes sort of in the corner of inverts in the hobby. They kind of just exist, and like that's sort of it. We've talked a little bit on previous episodes about what you've been doing with yours and the whole breeding trials and tribulations and things like that.
Super trial and error, though. I've only kind of been able to find a couple people that like had the knowledge and then shared it with me, and then also like being able to kind of put that into practice is very challenging.
Lives have been lost along the way.
Mistakes. Yeah, dude.
Michaels have been lost along the way.
Yeah, we lost female number 2. Unfortunately, I misinterpreted behavior. Like I stated previously, there's a thin line between love and hate, as we discussed.
Are we going to name all the females Karens? Different Karens, like Karen Carpenter?
I mean, you can. All I know is that all the males are named after someone named Michael.
Ashley.
So that's, whatever you want to do. Like, that's all I know. That's kind of the only like rule, I guess.
I don't know. It's got a match.
Yeah.
What's the most like Britney Spears?
Yeah, Britney Spears is a goodie.
Yeah, I don't know.
They name themselves,
They do. We don't choose it. They do.
No, I'm in the hunt for more females because one of my females is gravid, and then one of them got eaten. I sent one to Iowa.
Becky's a good one.
Yeah. So I'm on the hunt for more orange leg females, and I'm on the hunt for a white-beard male. That would be, so I've got 2 ginormous females that are definitely ready to give it a bid.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to think, what other stuff do I have going on? Not really much in terms of spiders. Got my blood pythons are really kind of moving along and doing well. So any day my big female should ovulate. So things are looking
Nice.
good in that regard.
No new spiders though.
Nothing since last time, but
Yeah.
I mean the Manchester Expo is next week, so I mean,
Is that a big one?
anything. It's large enough. I don't know if it's. I mean, it depends what you say big. It's what you think big is. It's big enough. A decent number of people go, and Underdarko is as well. So I'll just go hang out, help vend,
Oh.
sell some Fulvius apparel.
Say Dritz is going to be stocked up come Manchester. So
yeah, there's going to be a lot of shirts flying. So should be a good show, and I know there will be other people who sell spiders, and there will be cash in my hand, and there will be temptation, and we'll kind of see what we can see. Yeah,
the temptations.
I really will be looking for more orange leg centipedes. That I would pick up some more orange leg Dahani for sure, just because I need some more girls if they look good. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Do you see some now, like having been in Centipedes for, being more heavily into them for a while? Like, do you now see some at shows and you're like, that thing is a train wreck?
Yep. I'm just not gonna. Yeah, I see it. Like if I just look, they got black spots. They look mycotic. They just look dehydrated, lethargic. Like I don't know.
Yeah, if they're not
Just gotta look at it.
Fuck out and doing laps around the cup, there's something wrong with them, right?
Depends what it is.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't know. Again, like I won't necessarily ignorant. I guess is the best word. Like I see centipedes on tables, and I'm like, okay, it's a Chinese something. That's cool. Like it's got red legs. Neat. Like I don't know really what I'm looking at, and so like that's why when I go to shows and I see centipedes, I'm like, I'm gonna send this to Phil because this might be something that isn't what it's labeled as. That might actually be like special. And it's like if that's the case, then I will get it for you and
procure it.
Like as much as the idea of having to ship and pack up centipedes.
I was gonna say sometimes shipping centipedes can be
sounds like a fucking nightmare.
It can be a little bit of a debacle, that you do, putting them to sleep can be advantageous. I try not to do that just because it's harsh on the centipede. I try to just kind of like scurry them in a 32-ounce deli cup with some moss.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, realistically, could you like pop them in the fridge for like 5 minutes?
Probably, yeah.
And that kind of
but I'm not a qualified. I'm not an expert. Like nothing. Like I'm not responsible for
on paper.
In theory, on paper, hypothetically, potentially, maybe. Yeah. You have to ask Matt. It makes sense, but I don't want to say yes or no.
How to slow them down?
I'm not liable.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I've done it with 2 Dahani, and it wasn't too bad as long as you get like the deli cup full of moss. And it's like one of those long ones.
Yeah.
Put it right in front of them, and then they do kind of want to hide. Like their first instinct is to run away. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I didn't have any problem with it.
They're quick, especially man. Those little ones, seeing the tiny ones that y'all had on that last Palm Street, like. Ridiculous how quick those things move.
Yeah. I got I think 4 or 5 of those right now that I'm holding back. Those Thai flame legs. They are they're quick, and it's so cool. Like they're so cryptic. So I'll cut up mealworms, or I'll cut up superworms, or really anything, and I'll just put it in there, and it's gone the next day. And there's just like a bolus whenever.
Nothing left.
Yeah, it's so
Yeah.
cool to watch. Or just like, yeah, they just delete food. They get bigger. Sometimes they don't see them, and then I see them, and they're way bigger, and it's like, what the heck? Where did you
Where'd you
go?
go? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, like, oh, so I'm flipping like the cork. I'm like, where is this thing? And you look under the cork, and it's just like curled, curled up under the cork perfectly, like just like wait. Oh wow, these things are crazy.
More power to you, buddy. If when you go to Manchester, do you have anything tarantula wise or other invert wise that you are scouring?
We'll see what they would have for earth tigers.
More of the
Obviously.
Syrians? Yeah.
Yeah, some sort of like just dirt spider, heavy Weber. Maybe some more Fimbriatus so I can get a small army of them going. Maybe more like Bachma. I don't know. Nothing like nothing super tarantula. I've got a lot of tarantulas right now, and I'm raising a lot of cool stuff up. And I've got 4 gravid females in the incubator. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna, if things, assuming things were to transpire,
Yeah.
there will be a little bit more to do around here in terms of spiders.
Escalate a little.
Who knows? Yeah, who knows what's going to happen? The lividus female is like she redecorated. She was out. She was like looking for something. And then now she's like walled herself off and she's done more webbing. So like, I don't know. I feel like it's either going to happen or it's not, which is kind of stupid to say, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what the Avic, dude, the Avic is the amount of webbing that thing has done is insane. It's created like a double funnel. Like the nesting behavior for that thing is nuts. Every time I go and look at it again, it's webbed more.
Yeah.
And then I don't know what the HMAC is doing, dude. I can't read that spider. It's right over my head, man.
So John here asked, just tuned in. I'm curious what you keep your centipedes in. Very interested, but I hear horror stories on their escapes. Usually
I keep them in something taller than they are long. So like if they were to try to stand up, they can't get out. So that's like a deep, tall vial, a pasta storage container, or a 20-quart Sterilite gasketed tub. Whatever it is, it's either going to be gasketed or have an incredibly tight seal so they can't push themselves out. And then I just like to ventilate stuff super heavily, even if it's, a moisture-dependent species, just because you want that airflow. And I always give a water bowl. But
you can also, like, if you're going deeper like that, it's much easier to do like a humidity gradient.
A gradient
from top to bottom, where it's like if the top half dries out fairly quickly, like I'm okay with that as long as the dirt looks like it's still holding some moisture. Then I'm happy. Like same with the Vietnam silvers and the Albus striatus and stuff like that. Like top half of what they're in is usually dry, but then
that's fine. Yeah,
half is still plenty humid. So until I start to see that really dry out, I'll go through once a week and give them all a pretty heavy misting. But usually within a day or two, they're pretty much back to being dry on top. So
yeah, that's kind of what I've been doing with the centipedes. My really with everything in the room, maybe even a little more than twice a week, just because I'm running an oil-filled heater and an air purifier, so the moisture gets sucked out of the air pretty quickly.
Yeah, I'd imagine you struggle with the dryness a lot more than I do. I mean, it's
right now it's brutal, dude, because we have the heat in the house and the oil-filled heater and the air purifier. So it's like it's like usually Mondays and Fridays I'll do a little bit of a spray. Just to kind of see what's going on.
Yeah. I have an oil-filled heater, and that's on the nights that it gets really cold. Like last night, it was it was
Like
pretty
once a
damn
year.
chilly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even when we have the heat
Yeah.
on, like I think the house is still around like 68 or 69. So like I'll run that heater when it's cold outside. But like on tonight
Wow.
when it's gonna be maybe in the 50s, like I'm probably not gonna worry about it. I don't know.
Wow.
I know it's
It's
a
gonna be
weird concept.
27 degrees tonight.
It's comfortable right
even.
now. Like I got a light hoodie on. I'm, we got the ArachNerds hoodie. I'm good.
Wow. Yeah.
I'm Gucci.
Full on to
Look at
drink.
that.
Yeah. A little bit of drit swag. Yeah. Have you pulled any more molts? Have you done any more microscope work?
I did. So I pulled my Mikumi and
Good work.
the regular Usambara. Both of those I upgraded because they had sort of outgrown the smaller vials they were in. Pulled those molts. Both look male, but they're still small.
Super small. Okay.
I didn't
Easy
see
returns though.
I didn't
returns though,
see
Justin.
any signs of lady parts, so I'm thinking they're both male. No big deal. I've got a bunch of stuff that's in pre-molt. Some of the Bambus have gone off food, and they're like the smaller Bambus are starting to hide out for a long time. So I think I've got at least three. The three youngest ones I have, I think, are in pre-molt.
All right, man. Listen. Pause right here. Hypothetically speaking, okay, we're gonna play the hypothetical game. You and I.
Two of those are female, so I did look at like the last time. But there's one that's
but let's
still
say
up in the air.
So let's say he's him. Okay, what is your first step? Immediately, you're calling Dritz. Immediately, you're like, "Hey, listen, it happened. Okay,
it's real, and
I'm gonna start driving. All right, I'll see you in 26 hours."
I'm smuggling it in my bag as I'm getting on the plane. Happening. Yeah. So there's I have 5, and right now 4 of those are females.
Yeah.
There's the one that's still up in the air, and that's the one that I think is sort of just now getting into pre-molt. So we'll see. I'm not going to get my hopes up. I have a feeling I'll be going 5 for 5. But
yeah, that's okay, dude.
Just again, I'll just keep buying damn things.
Yeah, dude. At some point, you're gonna have to.
As soon as this winter weather crap is over with, the hunt's gonna begin again. So
it's only a matter of time. It's literally only a matter of time. Like
statistically, yeah. You throw enough darts at the board, you're bound to hit something, right?
I wonder why they're so tough to find.
There's
dude.
gotta be a reason to it. It makes no sense that every other species, there's no issues. Like, I mean, not every other species, but the majority of other species in the hobby, like finding a male is not that difficult. But there's got to be something to it with these biologically.
I don't know. I can't fathom. I'm befuddled.
Because then it's like, say the stars align and this one is a male, and it does go the distance, and it does get paired, and there is a sack. And there are slings.
What's the ratio?
Then I gotta how many do I have to? Not that I'm complaining. Like, how many do I have to hold on to then to make sure? Like
10 is the minimum. At that point, 10 is the minimum. If we're being honest,
which I can't imagine they have
very big. You get a good sack. Yeah, I don't know how big the sacks are, but you got to keep as many as you can. As many as you can.
Keller said I'm keeping my eye out for one also, but if I find it, you ain't getting it. He'd probably find it, and then he'd take a video of him putting it in with like his fucking Stramata or something and watch it just get annihilated.
Just get deleted.
And just to send me the video. Just to make
every show I'm at, dude, I go, if I see one with Dritz, I'm like, dude, what do you think that is? What do you think? Like, what do you think? He's like, oh, it's a female. Like, that's a female. Every single show, if I see one, I ask him. I'm trying, man.
Yeah, I'm keeping an eye. There's a couple people that I've bought from, like Tom Saxon, and
you're like, listen, if you get the
and I'm looking, like I've already told Saxon, like, bro, if you get Bambus slings in, like there's a very high likelihood that
Like,
I'm
just
gonna buy
email me, text me. Here's my phone number. Like, here's my credit
it. If you
card.
put them on the site,
Okay.
yeah.
Just tell me how much.
Well, he had some for sale, and I bought 2 of them. And I was like, "How many do you have?" He's like, "Just the 2." And I was like, "Shit." So I was about to be like, "If you got like a handful of them, like I'll buy the whole group." Don't even put them on the website, dude.
Just put them in the box. Here, just send me an invoice.
But again, because the weather's been pretty squirrely, especially up your way, especially the Tennessee Midwest area. Everyone's putting a halt to shipping still here and there. So that kind of forces me to stop and just wait.
I believe a shipping guide has or will be very soon coming out on TA that Anna put together. I believe that will be posted or that has been posted. I'm not sure. Don't quote me, dude. I don't really know much.
Word. Like someone who's like doing shipping? What do you mean?
Like, hey, this is how packing. I'm sorry, I didn't even elaborate, dude. I don't even know what I'm talking about, man.
I was talking to Dritz about that because like I gotta pack up that Cordatus at some point to send to him.
And he wants it safe, yeah.
But it's like, how do you with larger, and that Cordatus isn't even big, but like big female Bacillotheria, like how the fuck
32-ounce jelly cup with
how do
moss.
you get those into a cup
moss.
with just stuff in it though?
Carefully. No, well, you get a 32-ounce jelly cup, the ventilated lid. You pack a good amount of it with moss, enough for her to move around, but enough for it to be like snug, and you just coax her right in there. Make sure it's a little baby moist.
I feel like you're either gonna have too much or you're not gonna have enough. Like there's really no.
I don't know, dude. I've done it like probably 4 or 5 times, and I've not had any issue. I mean, I don't know, dude. I am not an expert. There's a guide for this. I literally just kind of do it, and it is. I've not had any issues.
Thinking about when Ryan and Jessica sent me those Ephibopus that I got, and it's the same thing of like the guys that get the monocled cobras into the delis. Like, I want to be there to see how you do it because it doesn't in my head. There's no.
It's a paintbrush. I get a big tub, kitchen table. Enclosed. I mean, pogies are not that bad, dude. They're pretty predictable, and you just gotta.
In terms of the size and like the bigger stuff, because you know how people do the lining with paper towel and stuff inside, and it's like convincing them to get in there would be the hard, especially if you get them and they're riled up, like they're already.
It depends. It depends what you're packing in. It depends. If I was in person with you, I could show you how to do it. You could say, Phil, that's not that hard. That's what she would say.
I'm just, I need to look up some videos on it. So I'm just curious because.
Or I can FaceTime you when I do it with Dritz, or I can, I'll show you how to do it. Like it's.
Because obviously I don't want to have a ton of room to wiggle around and jostle around in there in transit. But at the same time, like if it's snug in that cup and they don't feel like going in that cup, like the fuck do you do?
Well, so like you make it snug, but also like when you're shooing him into the cup, make sure there's enough room in the cup so that he can just run in there and feel secure,
It's just the logistics of it that I'm, again, on paper it makes sense, but then it's like, well, what do you do
just
when
like spider goes in cup?
What do you do
when I mean by that?
It's a lividus or an albistriatus that's just doing laps and doesn't sit still for longer than a second?
Well,
it's like little tiny stuff is one thing, but like bigger animals, like an adult female lividus, like packing up that would be just
well, you have to be patient. You just eventually coach the spider in the little cuppy.
There's no negotiating with them, Phil.
I don't know, dude. I just kind of make it. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know,
only
but I was
speak
talking to
from
I was
my
talking to
experience.
Dritz about it the other day. I think yesterday, and he's like, "Yeah, we're working on something." So another reason to join
It's
the
good.
Expansion Addicts Discord.
I read it. It's good.
Yeah. In other news, my female Mira has been MIA for quite some time.
Excellent.
Underground. Gotta be molting. And then I've been pumping that little male so friggin' full of food, trying to
Gravy
get him
train.
up to speed. Can you hear that, Jet?
Yeah.
Okay. Because it's nighttime, so it's time to do our flight routes and trainings and things. Yeah. I live right next to an air base, so there's jets constantly, all the
Oh,
time.
nice. Yeah. I mean, I live literally 2 miles from the airport, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
Other than that, I mean, it's pretty much no news, nothing new. Fimbriatus, I believe, are also in pre-molt because I haven't seen them in a little while. Because everything's kind of on the same feeding schedule, everything tends to seem to molt about the same time. If it's stuff
which
that's
is kind of cool.
size. Yeah,
It's kind of cool.
Highland Subfusca molted, and it is a male. So I was talking to Dritz about what to do with that. The problem is, and I don't know if we talked about it last time or not, but I think you and I talked about it, but like I want him to be used, but I want to make sure that he's actually a Highland.
Do you have his molt? Do you have his molt?
Yeah, I do.
Send it to Devin or something.
I just want to make sure it's a Highland and not like a cross, or I just
save the molt, and send it to Devin or Dritz or someone who will really look at it. Devin has that microscope, so you could always send that to her. That's what I would do.
Okay.
She'll be at Manchester too.
Okay. I'm sending Warren shirt up there with that order for Dritz because Dritz said that Warren would be there, so we'll get that.
Yep, away. He will.
Cool. But I see Matthew is here, so we will go ahead and bring him into the mix.
Excellent.
Hello.
There he is. What's up, man?
Hey, what's up?
Doing pretty good. How about yourselves?
Good.
Good to hear. Thanks for having me. Good to meet y'all.
Yeah,
good. Thanks for coming on, man. We appreciate it.
Oh, yeah, for sure. No.
It's tough to find Centipede guys. There's not a lot of them.
yeah. So I've seen. It's a shame. It's a real shame. I know Phil has got a few though, right? I know that you recently bred some, which is totally awesome.
I'm trying, dude. I'm throwing shit at the wall.
I mean, that's the way to do it. That's how I've done it. That's my course of action.
I mean, at some point, it's got to work, right? There's got to be a compatible. There's at some point they got to figure it out. So took me probably 4 or 5 tries and 2 centipedes, but
okay.
Yeah. Sometimes you come back and they're just chewing on each other, and you're like, what the fuck? You know what I mean?
Yeah. From what I've seen though, I haven't bred enough tarantulas really to be able to comment on like how well centipede breeding goes compared to tarantulas, but like I almost feel like it's usually a more calm ordeal than breeding tarantulas. It's just how it's been for me, at least. I've still lost centipedes to them eating each other, but
it happens. I feel like tarantulas, it's like hard and fast, whereas the centipedes, it's like a dance, dude. They gotta follow each other and shit.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah,
it's a process.
It is. It's like a whole like ordeal. What are you working with for species? I know we talked about it a little bit, but like obviously.
Yeah, like when you asked me that question before, I kind of got curious myself because I was like, man, what do I actually have? So basically, all the species that I have, I have them for the purpose of breeding them. That's my goal. I don't just keep them just to have them, even though they're awesome. I'm
Right.
trying to actively breed the species that I have. So I've got native stuff like heroes. I've got Polymorpha, Viridis, Aztecorum. I've got some alternans from Hispaniola, some Centipedes from a couple different localities, mint legs, Malaysian jewel, Dehani, some Kingulata from Europe, Mituenda, Morsitans, Hardwicki. Those are all the Scolopendra.
Nice.
And then I've got a few non-Scolopendra as well. Hemiscolopendra marginata, those little eastern bark centipedes, I think they call them.
Oh, okay.
Those are the U.S. local
There's
guys.
like the bluish tannish kind of.
They've got like a kind of a I would say maybe a smoky color to them, and then they've got like blue bands on their legs.
Yeah,
really small,
I've
really small.
I've found those. I've seen those before.
Yeah.
I had one on my dining room table one night randomly. My wife was like, "What's that?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" She's like, "That yours?" And it was just literally one of those just sitting on top of my dining room table. Like, had no idea where it came from. I was like, "That's weird." Just the most random.
Yeah. No, I've only got one of those little guys, and I've had the hardest time trying to find them. This was one that I found towards the middle of last year around Central Texas, and I was super excited because like it's just a little centipede. It's something that I had my eye out for a while, and I just hadn't actually seen them in the wild. My parents recently moved up, so I'm down in as far south in Texas as you can go in Brownsville.
Mm-hmm.
So right along the border there, the very, very southern tip. And we've got some cool heroes here and polymorpha. But anyways, just going back to that centipede that you were talking about on the counter. My parents told me they saw one in their new house that they just moved into as well. Mm-hmm. And I was like, man, you should have caught it up for me.
I don't see them super regularly. So I see the I don't remember what the species was, Phil.
The Scholocrypta, Scholocryptops, whatever.
Guys, I see those
the
way
Sexpinosis.
more often than the other ones.
Oh yeah, those things are awesome. Again, that's not something I've ever seen in person.
I've got 3 of them.
Oh yeah,
3 of them. Yeah, they're super cool. They're like super secretive and fossorial, but they eat every time, dude. If I leave food out, it's gone.
I love just the way like they're built, the stubby little fat terminal legs, and I don't know. That's just they're unique.
They're weird looking for sure.
Yeah. Where are you from again, Justin?
I'm in South Carolina.
Okay.
Right on the Georgia border, like on the coast. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And Phil,
I'm in Massachusetts.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Huh. What?
Literally.
Yeah. No, we're nice and cozy down here. I think the high was 80s today.
Oh, what? Jesus, dude. We were just talking about that shit. Yesterday it was like 19 degrees. Yeah, we're going to get a foot of snow this weekend.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I've seen snow less times than I can count on one hand in my life.
You're not missing anything.
Wow.
That's probably been enough for a lifetime.
Yeah, it's
cool
for about 30 seconds.
It's magical for about a minute, and then it's like it sucks.
And you got a shovel, and you're like, "Oh, this sucks."
Yeah.
So, can you talk a little bit about how you keep some of the more arid centipedes versus some of the more tropical stuff in terms of like husbandry?
Yeah. So, with centipedes in general, they're one of the most important things you hear from anyone is ventilation. They need a lot of that. They need a good amount of ventilation, but at the same time, they also require at least a humid spot, because they will dry out really quickly and just dehydrate and die. So yeah, with the different species, with my experience, some of the tropical ones like some Centipedes, Alipes, like those little feather tails from Africa.
Those are cool.
Those guys. I mean, I have never had an issue with either of those guys ever getting too humid. As far as like you can have them on a really really moist, straight up peat moss substrate, and I have never seen not that I would keep them like that, but I haven't had them get any sort of like mycosis or any other health problems that I've seen from that. So give them a lot of ventilation. Make sure they have plenty of humidity in the substrate, at least a half. With talking about like the more tropical species, give them like half the enclosure to be more dry, half the enclosure to be more on the humid side. More humid side, I usually load that up with a lot of hiding spots, maybe some leaf litter, so they can kind of choose a gradient as to whether they'd like to sit on top of the leaf litter, be underneath it, hang out on the dry side of the enclosure. Just giving them options. What I keep a lot of my large Scolopendra in are those Sterlite tubs. They're like, I don't know, 12 quart, something like that. I forget what the actual.
But they have the blue gasket. They're like the blue gasket ones.
Yeah, they got the ones right behind me here. And so, let me show you real quick.
I see a spider there too.
This is a Hardwickia right here.
Dude, those are so cool.
Those are cool.
They are. They look like toys. I mean, they're like not real animals. So
that's big. I can see it. Oh,
yeah,
that's a big,
this is a big female. I bred her again last week. So hopefully we'll get some babies from her, but in the future. But anyways, going back to the enclosure, these are what I keep a lot of the big Scolopendra in. I've got a big old chunk of cork in here right now. And then these guys, I've been keeping them on straight peat moss, really. Not a whole lot of sand in here at all. And, on one side, I've got a little bit of a moisture gradient, and I've got the cross ventilation, which is super important. A lot of folks just burn holes. They'll use like one of those little soldering irons to burn up, basically perforate the side of the enclosure. I just don't like burning plastic because it takes a long time, and I'm always inhaling that smoke, and it's just not great. Yeah. It's just not fun. So I've been buying these little vents. They're not particularly cheap. I think they're like a little more than $1 each. But I was buying them from a website called like TSK Reptile Supply, something like that.
Yeah. TSK.
Yep.
And so I'll put basically one on each side of the enclosure. One here, all the way around. And it's worked quite well for me. A lot of folks will also tell you, besides just having the cross ventilation itself, let's say you have them in a deeper enclosure than this, you would want that ventilation to be close to the substrate. And yeah, I would say to get it as far down to the substrate as you can. I've seen some folks basically ventilate the substrate itself, and I don't know that that's really necessary. It just gets really messy when you try to water the enclosure, or as the centipede's digging around in there, stuff will fall out. But just relatively close to the top of the substrate there. And these enclosures, these tubs, they're great because they've got that gasket, so there's no chance of the centipede escaping on its own. These little clasps break every once in a while. So if you have some extra ones on hand, you got to replace these little.
I think you can actually get.
You can actually email Sterilite, and they will
Oh,
send
yeah?
you replacements. I've done that. I have several of those, and I use the taller version just because they're taller. Literally, I use the exact same tub, just taller, and I've had them break. And I've emailed Sterilite, and they'll send them to you for free.
Oh,
Free
okay.
$99. You just send them a picture. Yeah, seriously.
Oh, well, that's really good
I've
to
done
know.
it twice.
I
Yeah.
had actually found there's someone who actually makes replacements for these with little metal.
They're like 3D printed.
glue. Yeah, they're like 3D printed, and they've got metal grooves, so they're not going to snap on you like these plastic ones do. So I just bought these a few weeks ago, and I
that's
replaced
super
a few
cool.
of them. Yeah. Actually, I bought them on Amazon, but I think the person who makes them is also on Etsy. But
people think of everything.
Yeah.
Wow. So, in terms of, can you talk a little bit about your shit, dude? I got a lot of questions, man. Just like breeding setups and like how do you craft like your arena, your sex dungeon, whatever you want to call it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The cave.
Yeah.
So, a lot of what I have learned about centipedes is from Warren McMonagle's book on centipedes in captivity.
I have that book. It's a good book.
It's awesome. It's really the only book out there for keeping centipedes in captivity, but it's great. It's a great one, and so that's why I learned a lot of what I know about centipedes. But anyways, when I'm breeding them, kind of what I'll set up is I'll take them out of the enclosure that they're in. I'll put them in something brand new that is large enough that they can escape from each other, but small enough that they need to see each other. They need to contact each other. And depending on the species, they're you're going to have to kind of decide what that size is. Some of, really easy stuff like the Barbados subspinipes. I've never had issues breeding those things. They're ridiculously easy, in my opinion. And you can put them in, you can be messing with them, you can be screwing around with them, you can be picking them up and holding them, and they'll breed. But some stuff like, so the Malaysian jewels, those guys are a nightmare to handle and take out and work with at all because they're super, super flighty. And so when I've tried pairing those guys up, they've killed each other because they're just psycho. So I would give those guys a lot more space. But basically the setup is a empty enclosure. I don't put any substrate in there. I usually line it with some large flat rocks, kind of like little rock sheets, just to give some texture for them to sit on. That's not dusty or dirty, because when centipedes breed, the male builds a little web, and in order for him to build that web, it has to be on a clean, sort of textured surface that web can stick to, because if it's dusty, if it's dirty, it's going to fall apart. So I layer the enclosure with little bits of rocks, bits of cork, bark, and I fill that thing up with just layers of different types of material and different widths of contact between those things to give them space to build that web. So when centipedes are breeding, they well, at least with Scolopendra, a lot of Scolopendra, the male will come in contact with the female. He will, they'll kind of get acquainted with each other, and he will start leading the female to a area where he can build that little sperm web. And so to give him the best chance of finding the perfect spot to make this web, I give him a lot of options. So, I've got it lined with different stuff, put the centipedes in there. Once the male is leading the female around, he'll hopefully find the perfect spot to build his web. He'll build that little web between the layers of stuff, and then he'll build that web. He'll lay the spermatophore, a little sperm packet in the web really carefully, just kind of set it in there so it's suspended and in that cavity. And then the female will walk over it and then pick it up with her genitalia, and it's done. You've bred your centipedes. So, like I said, for me, go ahead.
I was going to say sometimes, okay, well, it's happened to me twice. I've thought good things were happening, but bad things are happening. Do you know what I mean by that?
Everything looked great.
Everything looked great, and it didn't end up being great. How do you differentiate between, hey, they're just kind of cuddling, to, hey, this is like an interlocked death battle, and you need to separate them somehow?
Yeah. And that's a pain, because once they get interlocked with each other, I mean,
dude, you gotta slap them with bark. You gotta toss them in ice water. You gotta do something.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, usually, if that's going to happen, it's going to happen within the first few minutes of putting them together.
Okay.
So you'll put them together. If something is wrong, they are not happy with each other, they want to kill each other, then that'll happen really quickly. Now, recently with these Hardwicki, I got a really big scare with them, because right now I have one mature male and two mature females, and I believe that I've successfully bred both of those females. Now, I wanted to pair them up again just to make sure, because I didn't actually see this happening. I had paired them up. I saw that the male had built the web. I saw that there was no more spermatophore, so I assumed the female had picked it up, but I didn't see it with my own eyes. So I was going to do it again just to make sure. For whatever reason, that female was not acting the same as the first time I paired them up. She was just psycho. She wanted to just kill the male. And so she grabbed him, wrapped around him, and was kind of chewing on him. And, it's always a different scenario. I have not tried dunking them in like a vat of ice water or anything like that. I kind of just got my two tweezers, and I do my best to separate them as I can. And it, sometimes takes a bit of time, but kind of, once, the cool thing about these Hardwicki is they seem to be like super, super hardy as far as being bitten and penetrated.
They can take damage.
Yeah, they can, which is crazy. So these guys had bitten each other. The female had the head of the male. One of her fangs, her forcipials, was in top of his head, and it pierced. I thought it was over with, but by the time I had separated them, they were both bleeding a little bit. I got them in their own enclosures, and by the next day they were fine. It was like nothing had happened. I mean, there wasn't even really a scar on.
Whoa, that's crazy.
Yeah, which is nothing like the Malaysian jewels, which, like I was saying before, I haven't actually bred those things. When I paired them up, I had two, the male and a female, put them together, and the female had not even like latched onto the male and grabbed him, but she just kind of grabbed him for a minute, bit him, let him go. And I separated them. This was within, just a couple of seconds, separated
And
them.
he was bleeding out.
They both died. The male and the female had died from just that.
Yeah, man. My orange leg Dhani, those Michael Sarah and the female that passed, they bled out good, man. It was like gushers everywhere, dude. It was
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
couldn't handle it. Couldn't hang.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, going back to your like original question about that, as far as watching them, it's just like I said, it's going to happen usually within the first few minutes. Not always. Polymorpha. I've tried breeding them a few times, and I've been having some difficulty. The male is always really interested, but the females never actually go and pick up the spermatophore after he's set it for whatever reason. And so I've tried a few different methods with those things because I was like, okay, let me try. I kind of set them up in like a communal setup. I put 3 females, 2 males in a large enclosure with just a whole variation of different things for them to hide under and do their thing. And I left them in that enclosure for a few weeks, and for the most part they did fine until they didn't. One of the males got eaten, and after that I separated them all again. That was a few months ago, and I haven't seen any signs of females getting ready to lay clutches. But with some species that's necessary, like the Alipes. I have bred feathertail centipedes before and got babies from them several times. And with those guys, I would always just kind of set them up in a communal enclosure, kind of just like what I did with the polymorpha. You put them in something that they can live in for a while, and set up with water dishes, a very humidity gradient, and everything. And I did have them actually cannibalized once, but for the most part, that's the only way I was ever able to get them to breed.
How many were you putting together?
I was actually just doing 2 at a time. I had like about, I think, 4 different individuals. There's no way to sex those things, so I was just putting them together.
Wait, really? There's no way to sex those things?
Well, I shouldn't say that. They're really tiny. And I don't know how you would do it. I mean, I guess if you had the right equipment, you could probably do it. But whenever I'm sexing centipedes, I'm just using the naked eye to kind of see what I'm looking at, and I would have a really difficult time sexing them just because it's so freaking small. So actually, when it comes to breeding centipedes, I do sex them when I can, but a lot of times I put them together, kind of watch them, see how they're acting, and that's how I base, whether they're males or females. That's how I sex these Hardwicki. I just kind of put them together, watch them, see how they were doing, how they were reacting.
Oh, you didn't pop the Hardwicki?
No. Hardwicki are kind of special because with a lot of centipedes, you can pop them, and you're just looking at them with the naked eye, and it's usually the genitalia. They'll pop out as just a little blob. With the males, you'll know it's a male because you'll have 2 little spinnerets pop out on the side, and it's fairly easy. Hardwicki, even though the male spins a web just like any other Scolopendra, I don't believe the genitalia have like visible spinnerets. So I know that you can sex them if you got like a good camera and a magnifying glass, and the anatomy of the genitalia. You can figure it out. I don't know that. I don't know how exactly what to look for if I was to do that. So
Mhm.
I just kind of jumped the gun and put them together.
It worked out.
Yeah, and
Hopefully.
thankfully it worked out quite well. Um,
Wow.
I mean, the
Okay.
hard wiki are fairly hard to come by, right?
yeah,
Not a species you see very often.
I was gonna say, dude, I've never actually seen one in person, and I know they're not cheap.
yeah, because I guess at the moment they're species from India. You can't
Yeah.
import them directly out of India.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
all of the ones that are in the hobby right now are being bred by someone. I don't even know where he's located, but it's just one guy who's breeding them outside of the U.S. and so people import them from him, and
Mhm.
so they're all from that same bunch of centipedes, and it's when they come into the United States right now is based off of when he's got them available, um, and so that's of course apart from the color, that's why they're just so rare and so ridiculously expensive. Um,
How old are yours?
I that's a good question. So mine are all of mine I've only bought like 2 years ago, um, and they some of them I've raised since they were young, and those three are not mature yet. Um, but the other three I got as basically large juveniles, and
Mhm.
they grow super quick. They
Yeah.
really they've honestly been a super easy species for me to keep.
You got to keep them hot, so that's probably why you do so well with them, right?
Yeah, I mean I keep them at room temperature. Um,
Really? Okay.
yeah, yeah. So somewhere somewhere in the mid 70s is usually where they're at, and they've done great for me, honestly. So like I said, even the ones that I've raised since little tiny plings,
Mhm.
um, they've done great. There was one. I've had two deaths so far with the hard wiki eye.
Mhm.
So one of them was I had got in. He was unhealthy. He never did well from the start. He kind of just slowly faded away,
Mhm.
and it was kind of weird too. I couldn't get him to come back from it. He wouldn't eat very much. He was really lethargic, and he had a very puffy body, almost like a balloon.
Mhm.
Um, and I had just got him a few weeks ago. I was really scared to mess with him, so I just kind of had him left him. Kind of hoped that he would get over this on his own, and he never did. Eventually, he died. Um, now about just about 2 weeks ago, one of my juveniles that I have right now started acting the same way that one did back then. And, this is one that I've had already for, probably well over a year. And it's been completely fine up until this point. So it's a super unique scenario. And I'll bring it out and show you right now because it's right here. Um, But anyways, I don't imagine this one. Well, I know it's not going to come back from this. It's basically it's a goner already. But it's just a weird scenario because I've never seen anything like this. But like I said, it had been essentially completely normal up until recently,
Mhm.
up until about 2 weeks ago, when I noticed it was a little bit lethargic, um, and so it's a good 5 inches or so, five going on 6 inches, and it started acting lethargic. It stopped eating. Its body got a little puffy. Even right now, I can kind of feel it's full of air.
Yeah, it looks super
Um,
lethargic.
yeah, and then just yesterday, he chewed his antenna off. So he's got no antenna anymore.
Do you know? Have you asked Damaso about this? Do you know him?
Who is that
Discord?
again?
Myriapod Madness, Myriapod
Yeah.
Discord. Do you know Damasu in there?
Oh, yeah, I do know him. I haven't asked him about
Yeah,
it. No.
you should ask him about it.
Oh, okay. So it's a really weird. I've never had any centipede do something like this before.
You think it has to do with the substrate, maybe, or some sort of bacteria? Like I don't know. I'm just pissing into the wind here.
Yeah. This one's being kept exactly the same as all 5 of my other ones, and like I said, some of those I've had for about 2 years, and I've not had issues like this of eyes, but I've heard of folks having issues with them. Kind of like sections will die off, like they'll start to lose control of some of their legs, maybe midway down the body or towards the end, and that he still has control of his body. He's just very, very lethargic. And as far as I've never had a centipede chew off its own antenna before, which is just really
I've
strange.
never heard of that. That's wild.
I haven't been feeding it. There's no feeders in here to do that. It was just from one day to the next. He doesn't have any antenna.
It's like mad cow disease.
Yeah.
But a centipede. That's crazy.
Yeah. And he's kind of just been wandering around.
Aimlessly.
He's lethargic, but he is on the move. So it's a weird scenario. I don't know what's going on with it.
How long have you been working with centipedes?
I first got into centipedes. Was only about 7 years ago. Yeah, that was when I first got my first centipede. Was about 7 years ago. It was one of the
you got me beat, dude. So okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a little bit. It's a bit of time. So okay. So when I sent you that video of the Dahani copulation I had. When I saw that it was successful, I immediately separated her. I put her in a blacked out incubator, and I feed her as much as she wants to eat. I leave her alone. The Hardwicki, the female you just showed us, you said you paired her. Are you like what's your process once she starts to act rabid? Are you gonna separate her so that there's less stimulus? Like what's your thought process there?
So any other time I've had a centipede lay a clutch of eggs, they kind of, as long as you give them, it is important to make note of that. They've paired up. They are getting ready to lay eggs. So you start feeding them up as much as you can. Make sure they've got, if they're a more moisture loving species, then make sure that they've got a good section of moist area to hide in. And basically, I just set them up with a spot where they can dig their own nest. So I will give, a lot of times it's just in their own enclosure that they're already in. I will give them a large, like her, I've got that huge piece of cork in there right now, which I've kind of buried into the substrate so that when she's ready, she'll go underneath it, she'll dig out her own nest, and she will do her own thing from there. I don't black out the enclosure entirely. Sometimes it'll take a couple of months before she'll actually lay that clutch from when they're paired to when she lays the eggs. So I don't black out the enclosure. I just leave them in what they're in and set it up so that she can build her own nest. And one other thing, I guess, to keep in mind is if you've got them in an enclosure that does have ventilation that the babies can escape through, maybe set them up in something that is a baby escape proof. So, once the mom lays those eggs, you don't want to touch her. You don't want to do anything with her. You you'll know she's laid them because of, she'll have her nest. It'll usually be underneath some sort of a hide, and you can peek in on her, and you'll see that has a clutch of eggs, and she'll be wrapped around those eggs, and you just at that point you essentially make sure that the moisture level stays where it needs to be. For more dry species, at that point you really do not want to overwater their substrate, because they're sitting in one spot for sometimes like up to 3 months, and if it gets too wet around them, that can be detrimental to the mom and the baby. So you got to make sure that since she can't move during that whole time that she's sitting on those babies, that everything is set up to where it needs to be. And you want to make sure that she's, of course, well fed beforehand, because you're not going to be feeding her during that time. And yeah, that's that's really about the gist of it. Once they've laid their eggs, like I said about disturbing them, if you mess with them too much, if you're going in there, you're looking at them, shining flashlights, a whole bunch, trying to put prey items in there or something, then if the mom gets too worried, she'll say, oh, okay, this isn't a safe spot for me to actually have these babies, so let me just eat them and move on with my life.
Yeah.
So
are you ever worried about like photosensitivity causing that? Like, all my centipedes are in my snake room, and I'm regularly maintaining that snake room. So my concern would be interrupting her if I use the shop vac to vacuum up substrate or flick the lights on, or
so it would if your centipede was to lay her eggs in the open. Yeah, so if she does happen to lay a clutch out in the open, then absolutely you want to kind of black out that enclosure. You want to keep the vibrations at a minimum, keep the light at a minimum, the noise. But if she's built her own nest and she's in an enclosure where she's got a good roof over her head and a nice bed of substrate underneath her, she's hollowed out, then you don't really need to worry about that as much. Like I said, with the hard wiki eye right there, I expect her to go underneath that piece of cork, dig it out, hollow it out, lay her eggs, and she'll kind of just do her own thing from there. I probably will, once I know that she's actually sitting on a clutch, maybe it's been about a month and I'm getting ready to expect those babies to move on their own, just because of the ventilation holes that are in there. I don't know that a baby hardwick could escape through there. It probably could. So I've put them in a separate enclosure, a secondary container, and that way any babies that pop out from the ventilation get stuck in the secondary container and are just loose. Because I have had that happen before. The first time I bred the Centipedes from Barbados, a whole lot of those babies escaped, and they wound up in the RV that we were living in at the time. And one of them survived for 3 months on its own.
Whoa!
It grew up in the RV, and it was doing great. It was doing fantastic until I guess it wasn't able to get enough water and started to kind of dehydrate. Yeah, and I found him on the living room floor, still alive, and I still have him. Right. I gave him some water. He was fine.
Whoa, that's crazy.
But
a free range centipede, dude.
Yeah. For the most part, that's not going to happen. Once those little tiny babies escape, they're going to desiccate like nothing. I mean, they dry out and they'll just die instantly within hours.
Now, so like you get plings, right? How do you know when to separate them?
Yeah, so kind of what I've been doing is once the mom has they separated from the mom, they've gotten to that point where they've moved out on their own. I then remove the mom, take all the babies out, send them up in an enclosure that's safe for them, and then I'll leave them together for probably a couple of molts, maybe 2 molts at the most. And when I say that, I mean at that stage they're still super 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 tiny, but they generally will not start cannibalizing until they've grown up a bit. So just to make things easy on me, I keep them all together in the same enclosure. Give them plenty of hides, give them plenty of room to move around, and with little tiny centipedes like that, you can kind of feed them communally. So put like a little wad of cat food in there, tail up a few crickets or mealworms, put the pieces in there. They'll come by and they'll eat it at their leisure, and so at that stage, it's relatively easy to care for them. And then, of course, just like your spiders or anything else, then you got to separate them before they start eating each other. And that's when the real work begins.
Yeah, you're not kidding.
What's the average sort of brood size you found? Like, especially, I guess with like the Scolopendra, like the the Hardwicki and stuff. Like, if it's a bigger species, maybe more arid species, not necessarily arid, but drier. Not as tropical of a species. Like, are you seeing smaller broods of larger young, and vice versa with the tropical stuff?
So the largest clutch that I've seen was actually from the Barbados Centipedes, and that was from the clutch that a lot of the young had already escaped from. That same one I was talking about. And I think she had I'm trying to remember if it was 120 or 160.
Whoa, dude. Okay.
It was over 120. It was maybe like close to 130. I think that's what it was.
How big are those
like
adults? I
128.
didn't realize. I didn't realize there was a Barbados locality. Are those invasive?
No, not to my knowledge. They're these guys right here. No, you can barely see them. They look like your classic subspinipes.
Yeah.
There's just the kind of brown, red legs, black crossbands. They look just like the ones from Hawaii, if you're familiar with those.
Yeah, I do. I have the Taiwan locality.
Oh, okay. Okay.
When we lived in Hawaii, we were all like terrified because all the parents were always like, if you see the centipedes, don't touch them. And one of the neighborhood kids got bit on the foot or something, and it was like this big ordeal. They had us freaking terrified of those things. They made us think they were like the boogeymen of the backyard.
Yeah.
What about the Dahani? You ever produce those?
I haven't. No. It's kind of a dumb story. I had the Dahani that I have right now and that I've kept in the past have been the Thai black flame leg locality, and
I have one of those. Yeah. I have a female.
Yeah. And so I had the last time that I kept them, I just recently got 2 more. The last time that I kept them, I had 3, and I had them for a while. I kind of grew them up. I was never able to get them to breed, and I tried sexing them. I never really got a conclusive answer, and so I was like, okay, I probably just got really bad odds, and they're probably all the same sex. I needed to kind of clear out my collection a little bit, and so I just sold those guys off. And one of the 3 had molted shortly before I sold them, and that I guess happened to be a male that was not mature until that very last molt. So anyways, I paired them up several times, nothing was going on. I sold them to this guy. The minute he gets the package, like the hour he opens them up, puts them together and pairs them up, and they breed. And he
Dude,
gets a
what?
successful clutch from those guys.
Do you have how many do you have now?
Right now, I have two that. So I used to work at a local zoo here in South Texas, and they sometimes get confiscated animals that folks are trying to bring across the border. And when they get those animals, they need to find homes for them. And so when there happens to be centipedes in these confiscations, I get them. So, anyways, I recently got two that I'm pretty sure are both males. I was kind of messing with them earlier this week, and I believe they're both males. So
We'll talk
yeah.
We'll talk. For sure. Because my girl is in molt right now. She Warren from Bushveld Reptiles picked her up for me because she was labeled as just a regular Dahani, and it's not a regular Dahani. It just doesn't look like a regular one. So I haven't seen her in a couple weeks.
Yeah, these ones didn't have labels either. I'm just, I guess, kind of guessing what they are. they didn't have labels at all.
They're like black with like the greenish gray legs and like the
Little
psychopathic. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. No, absolutely.
How are the mint legs?
Oh, that's another question.
That's like, of all the ones that I see people who aren't into centipedes, being like, I'd get some of those. Those are cool. Like, mint legs seem to be the common thread.
I mean, and for good reason. They're amazing centipedes. They're not only just pretty, but from my I've had terrible experience trying to get my hands on mint leg centipedes. So I bought a few maybe like 3 years ago, and there was some issues with the shipment, and they ended up kind of coming in late. A lot of them were dead on arrival, and I had one survivor from those. I think it was 6 that I had got back then, and so since then, last year, it was the beginning of last year, I had got another 3. The one that survived was a female. So I have this one massive, massive female that I've been trying to get a mate for. And she's been doing great. I mean, seems like a really hardy centipede. She is right now the biggest centipede in my collection. I mean, she's just massive. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. Really.
She's
really
bigger than the Hardwicki.
I didn't think they got that big.
That's a big. Damn, that's a woman, dude.
Yeah.
That's a woman. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
She's just massive, and the reason I know it's a girl is actually because she laid a clutch shortly after I got her, but I'm pretty sure that the heat that kind of killed the rest of her associates affected that clutch, because as soon as she laid it, she ate it up. Like But anyways, so I recently got 3 more. About 2 weeks ago, I got 3 more from Ty Vandal from Tie Dye Exotics. He's a great guy. I've had a lot of experience with him, and those 3 are doing really well. And I hope to start kind of sexing those out and maybe pairing them up soon. But the ones that I had got kind of in between there, those ones all died off. They were just from a very, very bad shipment. Whoever had, I don't really want to start bad mouthing, like, folks who are distributing these animals. But the shipment that I had got were not good centipedes. They were full of mites. They were really, really thin, and none of those made it. So I'm looking forward to working with these ones that I've got right now.
Yeah, they look super cool. They're definitely on my to-do list. I really have been enjoying the whitebeards that I picked up.
Yeah.
Dude, those might be my favorite centipedes, man. I have 2 mature females, 1 juvenile female, and 2 pullings, and they grow insanely fast, and they eat like pigs. And I have them in, what I have, like the tall or sterilite.
Yes, that's what I keep most
Tubs,
of my
right?
tarantulas in. Yeah.
Yeah, they're 20 quarts, right? They're pretty big, and sometimes I'll go in there at night, and dude, they're standing up, pushing the lid, and I'm like, holy shit! Like they're like this, dude. They're like this big. They're huge.
They're like the hottie of.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh man, it's so impressive to just see them like so prehistoric.
I wanted to ask you about those because I have not worked with that species, but I mean, I've wanted to for a long time.
Dude,
I bet those things are awesome.
they have, I don't want to say they've been everywhere, but I've encountered quite a few of them recently. Just through, helping with the Underdark, with this guy Dritz, like helping him kind of vend and stuff. And I picked up 2 at White Plains, just like I've been seeing them at shows, and I'm just looking
Yeah,
for
you've
boys.
been on a tear.
I've been on a tear because I've heard they're pretty prolific. It's some sort of subspinaps. They look like a subspinaps, right? So they gotta kind of follow that trend of like the Asian like type.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. If I can find a male, I think I can figure it out. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
That's
No.
what I'm. Yeah.
I believe you. From what I've seen from the people who, I know the like you said, they're kind of popular right now. Those ones that I've been seeing a good amount of the South American giants showing up in the trade recently, which are another species that I've briefly worked with in the past, but I really want to get my hands on some. But like the Galapagos and stuff. But from what I've heard from the people who do have like the white beard, they've been really happy with them. They seem like a really prolific species, like you said.
Yeah, they're really robust, I think. I don't know. They seem to just like I'll give them a ton of food, they'll disappear, and then they just pop out bigger and hungrier. It's like it's super cool to watch them grow. So
that's been my experience with the Alclans from Hispaniola.
oh yeah,
I've got 6 of those right now that I bought as little plings. However long ago it was when those guys were in the trade. So I've had them for probably going on a year now. But regardless, they're growing super quick. They constantly look like grubs. I mean, they're just fat. They eat everything that you throw in there. It's it's a really unique experience working with those giant centipedes that
they
tend
just
to grow really big.
Eat, man. It's awesome.
Yeah.
I have some alternates from Florida, from Johnny Venom. I gave 2 of those to Damasu at White Plains, and then the 2 that I kept they're pretty voracious, like you said, dude. They don't get as big as those Hispaniolan ones, though. Those Hispaniolan ones get huge.
I would still love to work with those the Florida Keys ones as well, because they're a good beefy centipedes.
Yeah, it's not small. It's not small, but the Hispaniolan one is like, and they're red too. Oh, dude, they look like kind of demonic. It's awesome,
right? Yeah,
they're kind of cool. Like,
yeah, they're not. Mine don't look like that right now. They still kind of look like they've got the
tiny.
kind of caramel color with the little cross bands.
Yeah, mine's like that. Mine are like that too.
Okay, yeah.
I have some Arizona Viridis. Have you paired Viridis before?
I have.
How big do those get? Like, I didn't think they got that big.
No. So, the Viridis that I have, they look just like the Florida Viridis. They're from a locality here in Texas on the Barrier Islands, and they're small. They grow to be maybe like maybe 4 inches or so, and well, those are the ones that I had paired up, and I actually kept them communally because that's how I was kind of finding them. I was finding them in these sandy, essentially sand dunes, and they would be underneath bricks and rocks and things of that nature, and they would all be really close together. So I kept them communally for a long time, and I had very, very few casualties. I had a whole bunch of them, but
How many are you talking?
I had probably 10, 11, I think.
Okay, that's quite a few.
Yeah, and so I was keeping them communally. That I had tried pairing them up before. Let me backtrack. This was a little while ago. So I was keeping them separately, and I would try pairing them up with no luck. I was able to sex them. I knew I had males, females. I was pairing them up. Nothing was really going on, and so I set them up communally, and they did really well for a long time. And one of those females did lay a clutch and have a whole bunch of babies without that. That's the kind of trade-off is I wasn't able to keep an eye on them as well. So they were together, they bred. One of those females had a clutch, she had babies. Without my knowledge, the babies had escaped, kind of ran around. I wasn't able to raise any of those babies because most of them had died off already by the time I found them. And so that's been my luck with those. The other kind of viridis that I have are a locality from West Texas that I have not been able to breed yet.
What locality of West Texas?
The Edwards Plateau area.
Nice.
So yeah, these guys, some people, depending on who you talk to, some people call them polymorpha, some people call them viridis. What they are is they're really, really pretty. But again, they're a small centipede. They don't get very big, about 4 inches. And they are kind of blue with dark blue bands, and really, really pretty. So I had collected a few of them. They were all females. One of them laid a clutch, and I did raise those clutch. I still have a bunch of those babies. They're not mature yet. They're doing really well, though. They're honestly, raising that clutch was really easy. Nothing crazy about it. All of the babies that I got from her, I don't know if I had any casualties. It was a small clutch. I think she had because right now I held on to 6 of those babies. I think she only had 20 some in total.
Wow. But they're not big, you said. So I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense because they're not huge. Now with the viridis, the Barrier Islands ones, right? Not the ones that are often called polymorpha, the viridis, right? Just the straight viridis. Are they super fossorial and cryptic? Because the Arizona ones I have are dude, I never see them out. I always see them in their burrows, on the sides of the tall containers that I keep them in. And I'll see them come slink out and eat food, but I'll never see them out and about. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's exactly how these things were.
Okay.
That was why, like I said, she went through that whole process of having her clutch and those babies and everything, and I had no idea because I was just never able to keep an eye on her anymore.
I've literally seen them out maybe twice, maybe 2 times, and I got them. They were tiny, and now they're maybe this, and they're actually blue, dude. And it's holy shit! When I see them, they're crazy looking.
Yeah, yeah. So, how are you kind of keeping yours right now? Those Arizona ones. Um,
So I have them. Honestly, I can go grab the. I'll go grab the thing. I'll be
Do
right
it.
back.
Grab the thing. So I was perusing your Instagram. You do a good bit of herping in West Texas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was. I mean, so when I said I got into centipedes like 7 years ago, I was first into herping,
Mhm.
herps in general. That's that. When I growing up, that's was my focus.
Yeah.
Snakes. I loved them. I still do.
Mhm.
um, and so, yeah, I love West Texas. It's one of my favorite places on earth.
Dude, it's so awesome.
So
Okay,
just like
okay,
this.
yeah,
See how they're ventilated, and then the centipede is literally right here. Do you see it?
oh yeah, I see
It
them.
was maybe a quarter this size when I got it. Like shit, at the late 2025, like
Yeah,
like November 2025, and
yeah,
it just eats and eats and eats and grows, and I just keep one side sort of moist, the other side dry, and it does whatever it wants.
yeah. There
That's
it is.
it.
Again, my experience with them, they seem to do quite well with a good amount of moisture, which is uncommon for a lot of like the scolopendra of the
North
United
America.
States. Yeah, but
Now, you make me think I want to get a bunch more to raise up if you're keeping them communally like that, but I don't know. You had like 10 or 11 in a
yeah.
box together?
What was that?
You had like 10 or 11 together, like just living?
Yeah. So
Oh,
they
wow.
were. I had them set up in a large tub, and because where I was finding them was along the coast, I had them set up with a lot of fine sand,
Hmm.
and they kind of dug their own tunnels underneath there, and that's where they spend most of their time. And you know, I did that for the purpose of breeding them.
Hmm.
Um, it worked well. It worked surprisingly well. Like I said, for a long time, they went eating each other. They did really well.
You didn't
Uh,
pop them at all, right? You just put them together and observed?
that was after I had popped them.
Okay, so you
Yeah,
did. Okay,
but I
so
wasn't able
I
to.
maybe I'll try that.
Yeah, by the time I had put them together, I wasn't able to observe them at all. So I
Okay.
had popped them beforehand,
Hmm.
and so I knew I had a few males, a few females. Um, yeah, but it seems like you know uh, when it comes to centipedes, most of the small species, even if the scolopendra, like Viridis, uh, the, they they do quite well communally to an extent. As long as you're keeping them really well fed, you're keeping them really happy.
They
They're not
tolerate
really
it.
gonna, yeah, you give them enough space, they're not going to bother each other.
Hmm.
Um, the the problems start arising, once they start getting a little bit hungry, then they definitely
People
will
get
eat each
grumpy.
other.
Yeah,
um,
I'm putting this back. I'll be right back.
mhm, yeah, but that's what I've seen with the Alapes as well, the feather tails. You
Mhm.
know, the Alapes, the little. I don't know if you're familiar with the what do they call them? They're called stone centipedes. Um,
The weird sort of crickety legged looking, like they got the weird bend.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
no, no, not. I think of like the house centipedes, the ones that have
yeah,
like the crooked eyes.
yeah.
These guys are the. I forget the name of their family, but anyways, I had once was working with this bag of mulch that we had outside, and it essentially had a community of these stone centipedes living inside of it, which was I have not
Oh yeah,
physically.
I've seen those too. Okay.
Yeah, they're not a species that I've actually kept and worked with, but it was just kind of funny to see these little centipedes have essentially their own community within this bag of mulch that was just kind of sitting outside. So I'd go outside, I'd kind of dig around, and there would be a whole bunch of these little, I don't know why the name is escaping me right now, but these little stone centipedes just living in there. And
that's so cool.
Yeah, it kind of made me think, I would like to try setting something up like that in the future, just to kind of see what happens. Just get a big old tub full of mulch and throw a bunch of these little stone centipedes in there, feed them, and just see how they do.
So in terms of like you get a centipede in, right, and it has a little bit of mycosis, right? Can you talk a little bit about what that is and what you would do to mitigate that?
Yeah. So mycosis is a really big puzzle when it comes to centipedes. A lot of people have
it's an umbrella term.
Yes, it's an umbrella term, and a lot of people have different ideas of how to deal with it. Because it's an umbrella term, it's caused by a lot of different things, it seems like. So, I don't claim to be an expert on this, but from what I've seen, it is basically what it looks like on a centipede is a deterioration of the exoskeleton. It looks like a black rot, kind of like what you would see on maybe like a crustacean, like a crab getting shell rot, or a snake.
Similar to the Aztecorum terminal leg that I sent you a video of.
Yeah, very similar to that, but on what would normally be healthy tissue, healthy bits of the animal. So you'll see it like on the antenna, these little black dots on the legs, towards the joints. Maybe they'll start to kind of grow this yucky black. It looks, a lot of times it looks like something that you could just clean off, like maybe a bit of dirt, but you can't, because it's actually deteriorating the exoskeleton. So what I've seen cause it is with a lot of the North American centipedes, like halos and polymorpha. When they get too wet, when they get too moist, they will start to develop that sort of rot. Also, it'll come from injuries. So the centipede gets crushed or pierced in some way. They might start to develop it. Like I said, a lot of times it starts around the joints or in the spiracles. So where the centipede breathes from along the body, where it's got these little holes, you'll see them kind of fill up and become inflamed and start rotting from the inside. So anyways, what I've seen to combat that is you have to change how that centipede is set up, its living conditions. It's, like I said, it's not something that you can treat topically, like because centipedes have an exoskeleton. The only way that it is going to improve is if that centipede molts. So they've got to molt in order to actually get rid of that mycosis, which might be an issue for bigger centipedes, but you've got some hope if you've got a smaller one that you're growing up. So, if you got a centipede that's in a moist environment, you can move it to something a bit drier, add more ventilation, and by the next molt, it might start to clear up. On the other hand, though, desiccation can seem to cause it as well. So if you've got a centipede that's in too dry of an environment, and usually it happens after a molt. So if they're in a dry environment, they molt, and they don't have the moisture that they need to kind of fill themselves up. They will retain that dehydrated kind of crunched up shell, and it seems to also later cause problems down the road, which could sometimes be mycosis. And so, yeah, it's a really difficult topic. I think that's why it's so widely discussed when it comes to centipedes, is because the answer isn't very straightforward. So, I mostly see mycosis on halos. I work with a good amount of halos, and they do develop mycosis from time to time. And so usually I combat it by setting them up in an enclosure with more ventilation and drier substrate, and they will oftentimes, they'll molt it out and they'll be okay. It can be deadly depending on where it is.
If it spreads, if it
yeah,
spreads and you don't address it, yeah.
Yeah, especially if it's around the head. If it's on the antenna, if it's on the forcipials, if it's,
it's problematic for sure.
Yeah, anywhere around the mouth, it can be deadly really quickly.
I've had some yellow leg Dihani come in with it, and then that Asdecorum that I have, for some reason, I think it had a terminal leg injury. Well, it did have a terminal leg injury when I picked it up, and that terminal leg has just died. It's dying.
Mm-hmm.
The Dihani got over it quick. You just hit them with the gravy train, feed them up, and they'll molt out of it, And
exactly.
I assume the Asdecorum is well on her way. She doesn't want to eat, so we'll kind of see what what she wants to do, because she used to want to eat a lot,
Yeah, so I've got two Asdecorum that I collected in California. I went over there.
That's badass.
Yeah, I was actually there for my honeymoon, and of course, we had to make a hooping trip out of it and find some centipedes. And I found those guys as tiny, tiny little clings, and I still have both of them. They are doing fantastic. They eat like crazy. I haven't had any issues with mycosis. I mean, they've been great. I recently got one from someone else, and this was an adult. It had been field collected as well, as an adult. And
that's how mine is. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And this person who I got it from, they I don't know how long I had it actually, but they had said it was part of their personal collection, and it seemed to be doing really well under their care. But when I got it, it withered away within a week or two. Which may have been a shipment issue. I'm not really sure, but it wasn't eating. It was really lethargic. It just really was not doing great. Yeah, with yours, you sent me those pictures of that terminal leg of the video, and I would feel like very hopeful for that centipede, because the terminal
leg's still attached.
The leg's still attached. They usually really, they're just disposable. Those back legs, they get injuries all the time. They break off all the time, and so as long as you don't see any sort of like necrotic issues spreading to the body last segment, or like the genitals or anything like that, I wouldn't be too concerned about the mycosis itself being just on the leg.
Good, because she's a cool centipede for sure. And
I
would like to find a dude at some point. The North American stuff is cool. I definitely am more biased towards the Asian stuff. I've really been having fun trying to figure out the Dihani, just because it's not that, I can always get more, but I don't have to. So, listen, man, when I'm pairing those whitebeards, I am going to be a helicopter parent. You know what I'm saying?
Nothing wrong
That's
with that.
like, yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. With the Dahani, yeah, I'm still there. I have left them together before, which that's why we had mistakes were made, but I'm not as worried about a casualty, you know what I mean? It's less of a
Oh yeah,
yeah.
there's less stakes. It's
The stakes are not as elevated, Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. How many of the whitebeards do you have again?
I have 5 right now, 3
Okay,
girls and 2
nice,
unsexed. Yeah, dude.
nice.
So, um,
You're
they,
gonna have to keep me updated on how that goes because
yeah,
I
trust me. Yeah, don't you worry about that. We're gonna definitely make something happen. They're so
yeah,
freaking cool. And
yeah.
you ever touch your centipedes? You ever hold them?
I try to avoid it. So,
Yeah, me too.
yeah,
Me too.
you
Yeah.
know,
Not if I can help it.
yeah. You saw me holding the hard wiki eye back there. I was
Yeah,
just
but
doing it because it's basically dead.
yeah, that one's not too hot. That doesn't look like a hard wiki I should look. That's
No.
yeah.
But so the weird thing is, centipedes. I don't think there's a species of centipede out there that's ever been considered a hot, a lethal. I don't know that there has actually ever been a actually well recorded documentation of someone dying from a centipede bite.
Mhm.
I don't think there has. And so, in general, centipede bites, they're not something to worry about. Super painful. They can be
Not
super,
fun.
super painful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A
But
lot of swelling.
yes. Now, in my situation, I realized that I react a little bit differently to centipede bites than most people. I don't know quite why that is, but um, the first time I was bit by a centipede was a Heroes on a trip to West Texas, and uh, that very first time I had caught it. I was lit up by the thing. I had a lot of swelling, a lot of pain, but overall it was a fine experience. I went on with my day, and it was okay. Ever since then, uh, any bite that I get from a significantly sized scolopendra, even babies actually, I react really badly. I don't know if it's a sort of allergy,
Hypersensitivity. Yeah.
hypersensitivity of some sort, but I actually will get a lot of swelling, local swelling. Um,
Hives.
let's say usually it'll be on the hand. My whole arm will swell up. I'll have a
Yep.
lot of pain for several hours, and the strange thing is I'll get a fever every single time. It's like clockwork. Whenever I get bit by a scolopendra, I will get a fever that is. It'll put me in bed. It'll for a good 24 hours or so.
Oh
Um,
wow. Okay.
yeah.
Wow.
So I try to, yeah, at this point I kind of treat my centipedes like I would anything seriously,
What have you
venomous.
been bit by? Just Harrows?
So I have until I kind of learned how I reacted to centipede bites. I had been bit by a lot of things. I'd been bit by a
Okay.
lot of pillows.
Okay.
Some of the worst things that I had been bit by were um, not mint legs, Malaysian jewels. So those guys are not fun. It's a lot of pain.
That's the cherry, like the cherry Dahani looking one.
No, so these guys are
The multicolored leg ones.
yeah. So
Yeah, okay.
the Malaysian jewel centipede is
Yeah,
kind
I
of like
got you.
they get quite large.
Hmm.
They have a jet black body with
Yep.
red legs in the front, red
And blue
legs in the
legs.
back, and then blue legs in the middle.
Yeah, I know what
I mean,
you're
they're
talking about.
Those are
ridiculously pretty.
wild.
Yeah, I know they're crazy, um, but it hurts to get bit by one, and they are a pain to work with because they're yeah. There you go.
That's insane.
Are they semi-aquatic?
No, not to my
No,
knowledge.
no, no. They
They
look
do
super
enjoy a lot
cool.
of humidity, But
How big do they get?
so the one that I have right now is at least 8 inches.
Oh wow!
So I have one left from. I had bought a whole bunch of these guys as plings, and I raised them up, and it was a real learning curve taking care of them, and then when I started pairing them up, like I said, I lost those two that had bit each other, and so now I have one male, and he's about 8 inches. But I imagine the females would get larger. The female that I had was larger, actually.
Oh wow, that's quite the woman, I bet.
Yeah.
Now you got bit by one of those, dude?
I did. It was younger. It was like a teenager, and yeah, those guys can pack a punch.
Yeah, that looks like a wicked ouchie, man.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
That's what I was saying. They're so flighty. Taking care of those things is such a pain. They're really, really twitchy. They're super, super fast, and they're they're when they want to bite, they're really quick about it.
What other stuff?
So the worst bite that I've had from a centipede was from Scolopendra mituenda from the Solomon Islands. So those guys, I've had.
Those are rare.
Yeah, I had bought a few of them. I had been trying to get my hands on a few of them to breed them, and every time I would get them in, they were in really bad shape. They would never last very long. However, I got one female that came in who was gravid. She laid a clutch, and I got a whole bunch of babies from her. And those babies have done great. I think I have like 8 of them still. But as I was raising those youngsters, I had got bit by one that was so small I didn't even think it could really penetrate my skin. I was just kind of screwing around with it. It had escaped. I was picking it up off the floor, and it turned around. It bit me, and the venom on that thing was ridiculous. I could not imagine getting bit by an adult of one of those guys. Like I said, this was a newborn baby that had bit me, and it was more painful than any other centipede bite that I've experienced.
Wow. How big are the adults?
As adults, they're like the size of kind of like a hippos or a general, large.
So they don't get huge.
No, not that I've seen. But like I said, so the ones that I have right now, they're still young. They're still subadults. They're still not as big as they could be. They're doing great. Way better than any wild caught specimen that I've taken care of. But
yeah, for sure.
Just something about the Solomon Islands, that the stuff that comes from there just likes to struggle in captivity, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the running theme.
Yeah. I've also taken care of the ethmostigmus that comes from the Solomon Islands.
Oh, yeah.
That's another species that I just haven't had good luck with as far as the wild caught specimens that come in. They're just not healthy. But anyways, I had one for a while, and I was never bit by it, but I would not want to be bit by really any ethmostigmus. They're as opposed to Scolopendra, they're just as, some of them are just as big. But if you look at them, the fangs, the forcipials, they're massive. I mean, they look like they would hold a ridiculous amount of venom, and they could pack a really big punch. But I'm not speaking from experience.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
That sounds like a big ouch.
I mean, I don't want to get hit by any of them. Doesn't matter how big it is. But...
It's funny because I'll be out in the field, and I'll be with friends, and we'll maybe find some halos, and we'll be messing with them, and my friend will get bit by him, and he'll be just fine. It's like a bee sting to him, and then a few hours later, I'm in bed for having to take off of work for because I've got
Centipede
this
bite.
nasty fever. It's a real shame, honestly.
Yeah, that sucks, dude. I heard Dahani bites are pretty terrible too. I don't know if like I don't touch my Dahani. They're kind of nuts.
Yeah, that's not one I've been bit by either, but I've
Yeah.
heard the same.
Yeah, I mean they look nasty for sure.
Can we get into what spiders you're working with currently?
Yeah, spiders.
I saw one behind you earlier when you were getting the hard wiki eye off the shelf there.
I don't think I have any spiders on that shelf.
No, right behind you, like when you stood up, there was something decent size.
Yeah, that's right. Yes. So, yeah, there was, kind of my motivation in keeping the ones that I have. Like I said, I try to breed all the species that I have. I that's my goal, is to reproduce them. And so there was a point in time where I was, getting really crazy into these invertebrates, and I was kind of just grabbing whatever I could: tarantulas, centipedes, scorpions, other true spiders, and I kind of burnt myself out. I collected way too much. My collection got way too big, and so I kind of got to a point, really through last year. I was like, you know what I need to do is I need to start consolidating these animals, and I need to focus on something because I just got way too much, over my head. And so what I've actually been doing more recently is kind of clearing out my tarantula collection, and just focusing on centipedes. That's really what I want to focus on. So the tarantulas that I will be keeping and working with are mostly going to be native stuff.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so that's my kind of. I really, really enjoy native stuff. I think it's super underrated.
Agreed.
So especially ones that are local to me. So a Phonopelma annex. We've got a whole bunch of those around here, and I'll be continuing to try to breed those, as well as a Phonopelma moderatum.
Nice.
We have those here.
I like those. Yeah, those are gorgeous.
Yeah, they're one of my favorite tarantulas. They're so pretty. And apart from breeding them, I also I work as an educator as a nature park. So a lot of times I'll take my collection out to work with me and give presentations on them and kind of teach people about the native species that we've got in our area and just bugs in general. And so I like to have a good amount of native stuff so people can know what they're seeing outside their house here in South Texas. So anyways, I'll be working on those guys. I also wanted to keep some stuff that had kind of a wow factor to it as well, for that reason. So when I'm out there giving these presentations, I can show people Therophosa sturmi, and it's just this massive spider that really catches their attention. And so I'm trying to work with those as well. I have not actually produced a tarantula egg sac. Well, I've gotten a couple of egg sacs from wild caught specimens, but I haven't been able to get any viable babies from them yet. Like I said, they just haven't really been a focus of mine. So I'll keep sturmy. I would love to get into Poecilotheria. I love those guys. I've got some regalis right now, and they're just fantastic.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
you got to join Tarantula Addicts, dude. That's where all the.
I think I did like today or yesterday.
Good.
That's a cool thing you guys have got going on. I'm looking forward to looking into that a little more.
Nothing but a bunch of enablers.
Just
like get some of these. There's not going to be a single person that's going to tell you no, man.
Literally 7 Bambus deep, Justin, crying. It's nothing but a bunch of enablers.
Yeah.
If you're going there looking for people to tell you no, that ain't the place. Won't happen.
Have you ever kept centipedes, Justin? Oh no,
Nope.
not really.
So I take that back. I had one.
You got to tell him. Tell him where you got it.
I got it off Craigslist.
Okay.
I got it. I don't know. I bought someone's collection off Craigslist, and they were like, "I have this centipede too. Do you want it?" And I was like, "Not really, but why not?" And wasn't a fan. Wasn't scared of it. I'm not scared of them necessarily. It just I wasn't, having never had them before and not really having any experience seeing them in the wild aside from like Hawaii when I was a kid, which was very brief because we didn't see them that often. Wasn't prepared for the speed, wasn't prepared for just sort of how hardcore that thing was. I was like, Jesus, this thing is nuts. And I don't even know what it was. I can't imagine it was anything spectacular. I just remember it was red.
Yeah. Oh, okay. That's of course what I love about them. Like, I mean, the first time I found a centipede, I was looking for snakes. I was out road cruising, and I came across a Heroes, and I thought it was a snake at first. I was like, this is the most just hardcore thing I've ever seen.
They're nuts.
And so I picked it up, and that was what started it all. They are a handful, when compared to like scorpions and tarantulas, they require a lot more just care, overall monitoring.
Thought. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like,
if I'm going to open this box, I need to be careful. You know what I mean?
There's a chance I have a picture of the one that I had on my Facebook page. If I go back like,
dude, I'm definitely gonna have to hit you up for some Heros at some point, because that's something that I've really had a lot of trouble finding.
Yeah, I'm kind of working on growing up some that I have, and I haven't actually bred them in a little while, but and the ones that I have, like, kind of for sale right now, I'm not particularly trying to let go of. I just,
Can't you find them outside?
I can. They're not easy though. It's not easy.
Really?
No.
That was my next question. Is like, you can't, or it's not like you're swimming in them.
No, not by any means.
Interesting.
Yeah. They exist here, but they are not easy to find. There's a lot of times I'll go out and I will just completely, I'll not find anything for the day, and I'll be just strike out for a few days until I finally find one or two. But and I don't like necessarily collecting to sell them. I try to collect the ones that I have to breed them and then sell off the babies.
Do you road cruise for those, or do you have like spots where you lay out like stacked objects? Like, because I know, I don't know, I've seen people field collect them in Southeast Asia on YouTube, and they really obviously like leaf litter and heavy cover on the ground, like, obviously, right? So how are you kind of finding them?
Yeah, so as far as Heroes go, they're in my part of the world, here in South Texas, it's a very, very unique place. So we've got a couple localities that are not like very common. I in my opinion, these guys, we've got some closer to the Rio Grande River that are like an olive green color, depending on which one sometimes they're more of like an emerald green. And they're, just ridiculously pretty. And then as you go a little bit further north, as you follow the coast, you start to see some of these Heroes that are like a caramel color, or maybe a milk chocolate, sort of washed out brown. And then basically, if you're familiar with Texas at all, as you go, those guys are around between Willacy County and Corpus Christi. As you go north of Corpus Christi, then you get the Castaniceps, which are those, classic black body with bright yellow or orange legs.
Yeah, those are beautiful. Those are beautiful.
Yeah. And so some of the ones that I'm trying to work with are, of course, the local green and tan localities. And so when I'm going out looking for them, I do try flipping them. They like cover that's very, very flush with the ground. So actually,
humidity
mattresses are great for centipedes. They love mattresses.
It's a magnet.
Yeah.
Have you ever found them eating carrion or like roadkill or something?
I haven't. I've seen a lot of people who do find them on the roads.
I have as well.
Yeah, like there's a observation on iNaturalist of someone who saw a heroes eating a hot wing here in Texas.
Whoa, is that
Yeah.
true? That's
nature.
crazy.
Yeah,
That's crazy. That's electric. I gotta find that.
Yeah. I'll see if I can
God.
find that picture. Maybe send it to you. But
Yeah, wow.
People find these guys eating a lot of vertebrates. Roadkill.
Whatever.
You
Yeah,
may have
whatever.
seen. Yeah. Heroes sometimes catching bats. They'll be hanging off the edge of rock cuts or cliffs catching bats. Dead mice or rats, things like that. So I don't think that's very uncommon for them to be eating.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Do you ever, like, in terms of feeding your centipedes, do you ever feed them vertebrate meat, or is it just cat food? Sometimes with bugs, like what do you got going on?
Yeah, so most of the time I feed them invertebrates. Most of my centipedes, they get a diet of either red runners or dubia or crickets. That's what I give them for the most part. And so there was a point where I was kind of mixing in some bits of beef or cat food. A lot of people like to feed their centipedes cat food. And I don't necessarily see anything wrong with that, but it's more work for me because then I have to go back and get all that meat out of there before it starts to rot and attract fruit flies and things of that nature. So I don't do much of that. Also, a lot of folks will give their centipedes bits of fruit and vegetation from time to time. Mostly like banana and grapes or cantaloupe or things like that. And from what I've seen, they do eat it, which is really strange. The
McGonagall book talks about that. It has no nutritional benefits, but it doesn't harm them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I feel like for them, and my centipedes, I don't really put that in part of in their diet because from what I've seen, they really only eat it when they're like they're parched or they're really hungry. They're looking for some sort of liquid. They don't just kind of eat it on their own. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so I've kind of thought about like the halos that are native to my area. What sort of fruits would they be eating? And so I've tried. What was that?
Cacti?
Yeah, so that was my first thought, right? Cactus. So I give them some cactus fruit, maybe some cactus pads and stuff, and they don't touch it. They couldn't care less about it. So I really don't think it's necessary.
Yeah, I don't feed my centipedes fruit either. I've given my Dahani like pieces of chicken gizzard. I've given them frog meat. They love all that stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The whitebeards and stuff love the frog meat and the chicken gizzard, the chicken heart, like organ meats. I'll give them, but most of the time it's invertebrates, just because of how easy it is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and you know what? I think the centipede that I have kept the longest, that survived in my collection for the longest amount of time, was the first one that I caught, which was a Heros. She was an adult when I got her, so I don't know how old she was, but I had her for about 5 years, I think. And, you know, she essentially lived off of crickets. That was what I had fed her for almost the entire time I had her. Maybe some roaches here and then, and she was completely fine. Yeah, she did great. The only reason she lived a great life. I mean, you could kind of tell when she started to get old, she was slowing down. She had got to a point where she was just you could tell she was an old animal.
Yeah.
I don't think that she necessarily died from any sort of particular issue. It was an old age thing. And so, like I said, based off of that and from what I fed her throughout her life, she did completely fine.
Wow. Okay. That's good to know.
About to get me some red runners.
Yeah. Yes, you are.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen.
Justin, the message happened. It finally happened, Matt. Listen, it happened one day. I was at work. I just got home from work, and Justin says, "Phil, what's your red runner setup look like?" He's been resisting it for so long. He's been a cricket guy. He's been a dubia guy, and he's finally come to the dark side.
The problem is, like, I have my dubias, but I'm not really keeping them warm enough for them to make any progress at all. So they just have been existing. And then the problem is like when I go to PetSmart to get crickets, I'm getting to a point now where I'm spending a decent money on crickets on a regular basis, but especially this time of year, I guess they get their shipments in and half that stuff comes in dead. And so then
so cold. Yeah.
By the time that I actually get there after work, even on the days where they get the shipments in, they're pretty much gone because they're like, yeah, we have like 30 people come in and buy pretty much as they can. And so then by the time I get there, there's like nothing left. And so finally yesterday was the breaking point, I think, because it didn't come in on Tuesday like they normally do. So I went in Wednesday and I was like, sweet, I'm going to go get some crickets. And they were pretty much all gone. And so I was like, fuck, man. And so like, I was like, okay, it's time. I gotta ask about this red runner thing. So I was like, Phil, let me see how you're doing it. And now I may just feed off the dubia. I might just feed off the dubia I have and just turn that bin into a red runner bin. I don't.
You can. It's very.
Because I have mealworms and like those are great and all. I don't particularly care for mealworms unless like I have to use them. I don't.
I use those for slings.
Yeah, I mean, even then, like I found that a solid like 50% of the time, they don't even really get eaten. Like stuff just kind of doesn't care about it, or they just freak out.
Bury themselves too quick.
Yeah,
they go down instead of just hanging out around the top where they can get eaten. Yeah.
I have those just in case. But like even for like tiny slings, I've got those. What is those flower beetles? The little teeny tiny micro guys. But yeah, it's to the point now where it's like I need something that reproduces a lot and reproduces fast, and
yeah, just throw them on an ultratherm heat pad. And
I'm gonna pick up another one, and
actually, that's what I need to do. I need to get some heat pads on mine because I just keep them at room temperature, and they don't produce as much as I would like to. I still I've got a couple colonies of both red runners and the dubias, but they definitely could be more prolific than they are at the moment.
It's slow for me right now. It's only about 67 in this room, 65. You know what I mean? And that's because the heat's on right now. So, I don't keep the feeders in the snake room. So in the summer, I get a lot of production. In the winter, I kind of just ride it out and crank the heat pads.
Yeah. One word of caution with the red runners, though, is they're a lot more feisty than the dubias, and they eat protein sometimes. And so there was an issue I had recently where I put some dubias in with a centipede that was it was getting ready to molt, so she didn't eat them right away. And after she molted, she had that soft body. the roaches came and they ate her. So
Whoa,
you
what
know,
kind of centipede?
that was a Harrow's. Yeah, that was one of the local Harrow's.
Sad.
Yeah. So I'm really cautious now, of course, to make sure that when I put the roaches in there, they get eaten right away, or they're pre-killed.
I'm gonna be honest. I've been pre-killing a lot of food and just leaving it out because they'll come out and just eat it at night.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
there's just there's no risk. It's already dead. As long as there's something like juices or something coming out of the prey, dude, they love that moisture, that liquid. Like, unless the centipede is eating off the tongs in front of me, I'm pre-killing it.
Yeah.
It's just easy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I see no problem. I think that's probably the way to do it.
And in my larger enclosures, you want me to be honest? I've been feeding them on I've been pre-killing the roaches and putting them on the 2-ounce deli cup lids, like when I drop feed my snakes, so that the centipede they'll just come and eat off the plate, and then if they leave anything, they leave it right on the plate. It's kind of crazy that my centipedes have table manners.
Yeah. I play a game now with the dubia where if it doesn't get eaten, I'm like, how long will you survive as a roommate? And we'll see, how long you hang out.
Until
you get snatched
marked.
up. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some
Depending
dubia
on
where I'm
what
like,
it
I don't
is.
even remember when I put you in there, and all of a sudden they just show up, and I'm like, what?
Where the
How are
hell
you
have
still
been?
here? Exactly. Crazy.
Yeah. The Heidi little thing.
Yeah, and they burrow so quick.
I need to look. I haven't even looked on my colony at all lately. I need to see where it's at. That's, like I said, it's just been I've been keeping them warm enough, so I'm not making any progress with them growing, and
I just got one of those like 30-inch long Ultratherm heat pads from Reptile Basics, and I have 2 bins right on it. I keep it at like 95, 96, and the bottom of those bins are always nice and toasty, and all the roaches just sit there and just poop out babies.
No. I do wonder though, since I'm sensitized to the dubia, if I'll have the same issue with the red runners.
It might be a price you have to pay for.
That price is a lot of Benadryl, and I'm down for the count for like the day. So
okay. All right. Okay.
It's a heavy price.
Well, I mean, so is fighting the beardy moms at
this is true.
At Petco for your 10 large crickets or whatever,
I'm getting like 30 and 30 at a time of both sizes, and that usually hold me over for a week, 2 weeks, maybe.
That's crazy, man. Wow. We're different.
It's because those Theraphosa are eating me out of house and home, dude.
Well, you gotta get bigger feeders, brother.
Yeah, that too. My hypothesis, I'm like, I'm just gonna go ahead and give you 3.
I got hissers, man. I got a tank for hissers here too for my one Asian Iculata and some of my larger centipedes that get hissers.
I haven't fed out a hisser yet, but I imagine that's pretty fun to watch.
Dude, I've been giving them. I have this one female yellow-legged Dahani I got from Tom Patterson. She ate Michael Sarah. She ate one of my males.
Oh.
She's quite the character. I gave her a hisser, and dude, she ate it when it was alive. She ate it when it was living. It was so crazy to see. It was brutal, dude. She was like, it was metal.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Oh, it was nuts to watch, dude.
Going back, so Justin, your Theraphosa, have you reproduced those? Because, like I said, those are ones that I'm looking to.
Both of mine are males. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I've got a Sturmy and I've got an Apophysis, and the Sturmy's still small.
Justin's got the boys.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're really fun though. That's for the longest time I really didn't like. I was like, okay, it's a big spider. That's cool. But it wasn't until I got that Apophysis, and that Apophysis was still a juvie when I got it, and like immediately I was like, okay, these things are cool. Like I enjoy the hell out of those.
Yeah.
Phil doesn't like them because they're itchy. I don't seem to have such a
I
problem.
get big itchy, dude. I get big itchy.
No, so do I. I don't know if like you get like little welts from those.
Sometimes I do. Yeah.
So from Pamphibedius, I have 2 New World tarantulas in my house. I have like 100 and some spiders. 2 of them are New World. One's a Brazilian whitey that that's Britney Spears. I got to keep her, and then I have an Avic that's gravid.
Oh, okay.
No kickers for me, dude. I get really itchy, like all those little welts. I got to get Dawn dish soap. I got to lather myself up. I got to hose myself off in the backyard. It's this whole like process.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're fun though. I'm really liking them. They're just absolute savages.
Yeah.
I just hope you don't get hair, Justin, because those are the worst.
That apophysis dude will come flying out of that damn burrow when food hits the ground and like just starts grabbing whatever's within arm's reach, man. Like,
yeah,
it's insane.
Yeah, so mine are Sturmy. I've got 2 females and a male. I've got 2 females and a male. I had one mature male it was a little while ago. I had a mature male that I was attempting to pair with the females, and I thought it was going well. As far as I could tell, everything did go well. A few times I paired them, but I never got a sack. And through that time, I continued to pair that same male with the females, and eventually he got eaten. There was no coming back from that. But I have another male that has not matured yet, and I would like to kind of figure out, maybe hear from some other people who have reproduced them just before I start pairing them up again.
Yeah, there's a guy in that Discord that can help you out with that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they're neat. I really like the apophysis a lot. The Sturmy's cool too, but the apophysis, maybe it's just because that's like the first species in that group that I got that sort of turned me on to them. It's I got a sort of more of a soft spot for that one, but I like it.
He's a Bambus man.
Giant and Bambus. You ever seen a male Bambus? No one has. They're
Me
not real.
neither.
Yeah.
Welcome to the club. If you see a male Bambus, we're going to give you a phone number to call. Okay? You call that phone number.
Doesn't matter if it's 2 a.m.
Doesn't matter if it's $800.
It's like the bat phone. It matters if it's $800.
Okay,
like,
all right. Justin's like, well,
dude, that's
a lot of t-shirts there.
That's what's gonna happen, man. Is like I'm gonna see a Bambus male, and someone's gonna be like, "Oh, I know at least."
Oh, you're Justin Smith, the guy that's been talking about them.
3
for 20
nerds
years.
in the U.S. that have been looking for a male Bambus for God knows how long. Dritz has been looking for one longer than I have. A lot of people, I'm sure, have.
He stays
And
looking
so
for
it's like
one.
they're gonna be like, "Oh, yep, $800." I'm gonna be like, "Well, fuck, I'm out." Unless I just start offloading some chondros or something.
Yeah, I was gonna say you'd make the purchase, dude.
I don't know how I'd sell myself some way or another. I'd earn that $800.
You goddamn right you would.
Yeah,
that'd be the luckiest male spider in the world.
Dude, if he survived, you know how much he would get passed around like mother of God. By the time he got to his last stop, dude wouldn't have anything.
Yeah, bro would be limping. Man would be limping.
Just barely crawling across the finish line there to heaven. Like, Jesus. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love those feisty little bastards, though. That's the only spiders that I've had where I was moving with a paintbrush and they just grabbed the paintbrush and just gnawed on it for like a minute straight. Didn't let it go, just held onto it. And they were just like, "Yep, this is mine now." And I'm, it's like, if that was my finger, that would probably suck a lot.
That would really suck, dude. The mechanical damage. Oh my God.
Straight up, they just grab it. Like they just grabbed the brush and just held onto it, and I could feel them grinding. And I was like, Jesus, like.
That's what I like to see. I like to see animals that actually, like, they fight back.
They want to live.
Yeah, they want to live. They've got some feist to them. You've got I think that's why I like centipedes so much.
Yeah, I feel you, dude. I'm big into the Asian fossorials, so I definitely that's definitely felt.
Yeah, for sure. You've got those, like the phonopelma around here. You'll find them. You'll kind of see them walking around, just kind of pick them up like a little gumdrop, and they couldn't care less. And it's like,
Stop,
I have
put me down.
I have a Chalcodes. It could fit on a dime, and it's probably like 2 years old.
So I've got actually a whole bunch of Chalcodes, just because that seems like one of the species that not a whole lot of people have bred. So I kind of wanted to see if I could maybe figure out what is going on with those.
You have to have a 15-year plan.
Yeah, so that's another one that I'm hoping to kind of work with, and I do have a few females that I bred a few months ago, and they're large, they're huge, they look like they're ready to drop a sack, but they have not yet. I guess we'll just kind of see as things go on. And I have, like I said, I'm kind of coming back from really being burnt out with these animals in general. So I'm really trying to consolidate them and focus on them. And I haven't done a lot of I really haven't been monitoring them well. So I'll hopefully start doing that soon, and maybe we'll see what happens with the
I feel like it's infinitely harder with inverts because you're not as constrained by space. Yeah,
it's too easy, man.
Like snakes, I understand. Like the people that are able to focus in on 3 or 4 species, or even less than that.
I can't do that. I can't do that. But anyway.
But like with inverts, I feel like it's so much harder. It's so much harder because there's too much cool stuff. It's too easy. Like it.
No, you're totally right.
Props to the people that can do it, but just man.
Yeah. My setup, but until recently, I was living in an RV, and I couldn't keep. I mean, it was small. Like I couldn't keep any inverts in there. So I was actually I had a friend who had an actual house with an extra spare room who was letting me keep all of my bugs in there. And so, I had this extra spare room that was just filled with bugs, and I kept filling it with more and more bugs. And it wasn't even in my own house. So, when I would come home from work, I would go straight there, 20-minute drive, take care of bugs for a few hours, finally make it home. And so it was a really exciting. It was a lot of fun, but like I said, I did kind of burn myself out from that. And then we recently moved into somewhere where I've got some more space, and I can finally keep all of my animals actually with me. So it's been a little bit easier, but I've still got to. I've got to consolidate things a little bit. Really, like I said, I'm focusing on centipedes. I've got a few tarantulas that I'm working with, a couple native scorpions and trapdoor spiders as well.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah, and those that's kind of going to be the gist of my focus.
Centroides, I'm assuming some other odds and ends.
Yeah, so Diplocentris actually.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so those are I love them. I mean, they're fantastic scorpions.
Yeah,
so
they're cool.
Here in Texas, we've got 3 species. I don't have whitey eye yet, but I've got the ones that we've got here in South Texas, which are Diplocentris diablo and Diplocentris lindo over there towards like West Texas, and I have reared a few babies from those guys. The super slow growing. But they've been a lot of fun. I really do love the Diplocentris, and those guys are kind of going to be my focus, I think, right now.
I remember seeing someone, we were in West Texas. It was like the Sanderson area, I think, and I don't remember which. I don't know what species it was, but I'm fairly certain it was some of the Diplos. But
lindo, those are the ones that are all throughout that area. There's a lot of them in Sanderson.
Are they dark, like black, brown? Yeah, that's what it was then.
as youngsters, they're kind of like a cream color, and then as they get older, they darken dramatically. I mean, they start from essentially like a white cream until they become adults where they're black. And you know, the large, the really cool looking animals. They look just like the Diplocentris diablo that we have down here in my area. And then the whitey I found those. I just haven't collected them. I'm really looking forward to getting some though, because they're gigantic. they're like little emperor scorpions.
Some vinegaroons when we were there too, which was pretty cool because they were decent size. There's all kinds of cool stuff, man. I want to go back. I only went there the one time, but itching to get back out there. It was such a cool place.
Yeah. Are either of y'all into Alterna?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a big Baird's guy.
Okay.
I like Getula Kings.
It's gross.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
So, you know, kind of like what you were saying before about bugs, you know, in space, you know, it's easy for me to keep these invertebrates because of space. But when it comes to snakes, I've got to be a little bit more picky about what I've got because I just don't have the space for them. But I do have an Alterna from the Sanderson area, and it's a youngster. I haven't sexed it yet, but again, the reason I have it is because I want to breed it. So at some point, I'll be looking to do that and finding a mate for it.
The babies were the biggest. I've never had getting babies established has never been more difficult than with Alterna for me.
Yeah.
I think it's much easier for guys that are in Texas when you have Scoloporus and stuff nearby that you can send with, because we somehow had someone send me and my dad had a lot of Alterna and was breeding those for a while, but he had someone send him some Scoloporus, and like as soon as we sent it with those, like ate no problem, like they had never even stopped, like just immediate. So it's like if you're one of the guys in Texas breeding Alterna, it's much easier, but like outside of that, man, it was it was a battle.
I haven't even
that difficult.
I haven't even tried to get this thing on pinkies yet. I'm just
really?
No. I'm just going outside and catching it little Scoloporus or anoles. It does just fine on anoles right now.
Yeah, we tried the greens we have here and got like no reaction, but like there's something about the Scoloporus, man, that just had some sort of magic juice to it or something, because man, they like immediately like offering up a pinky and they didn't take it, turning around and scenting that same pinky and then offering it to him again and they snatched it like night and day. Just unbelievable.
Yeah, I've never had any problem with Getula Kings eating.
And you never will, because it's a Getula.
Yeah, you just won't put that out there.
Too busy eating fingers.
Yep, goddamn right about that.
I'd still rather deal with Alterna than deal with Getula.
That's okay. That's cool, man.
I appreciate some of the Getula stuff,
and I appreciate the Mexicana stuff. I really do.
The Edisto Eastern Kings are amazing. Outer Banks Kings are amazing, but fuck them. I don't. They're terrible.
Okay, that's
terrible.
I don't know about that.
I've had a handful of Eastern Kings and Floridas and
I really like Floridas. I want to get some Floridas
over the years, and like every time I have one, I just I can't trust you to not latch onto me at some point or another for no damn reason.
Because you got soft little baby hands.
That's probably it.
Yeah, for counting money.
At least the problem is they're sneaky about it. No. So like my childhood trauma for Getula comes from this one Brooks King I had, where you would take it out. You would take it out and handle it and it'd be fine. And then you'd like look down and it was like actively swallowing your finger.
Yep.
And ever since I'm team fuck Getula. I just don't.
I kind of like that though. Like I don't know. I kind of that. Yeah. I don't know.
Mind mean snakes. I just don't like the sneaky, like pretend to be cool and then we're not, like the chondros, Corrales, like all that
Yeah.
stuff. They
Mhm.
are very upfront
Mm-hmm.
when they just don't want you around, and like
Sure.
I appreciate that more than the sneakiness of the Getchula. That's like, yeah, man, let's hang out, and then
My Getchel aren't sneaky. Mine aren't sneaky at
yeah,
all. Yeah.
I don't know.
It's okay. Maybe next time.
And Theori are also
Okay.
awesome.
Yep.
Or Leonis, rather, I guess is what they are now.
Mm-hmm. Whatever you want to call them.
Yeah, whatever they are this week.
I like speckled kings. I'm a big speckled king guy.
Speckled Kings are awesome.
Speckled kings are awesome.
Yeah.
They're really cool.
I feel like Thamnophis are a really, really underrated snake.
Listen, man, I agree. I've got a garter snake right over there.
I've got two
Yeah.
Chapalas, and I love them.
Love them.
Yeah.
Those are awesome snakes, man.
I also have Nerodia. I got a couple different Nerodia localities.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah. No, my first snake ever. I mean, I was my parents were really cool about letting me keep snakes when I was younger, and so my first was a checkered garter that I found in the backyard, and
Nice.
I mean, man, I really would like to keep that species again. I haven't ever since then, but I've those guys were fantastic. They're active, they're really engaging. They're just easy.
I cut up food and I put it on a plate, and my garter snake eats it off a plate and chews on it like cigars.
Yeah,
It's awesome.
yeah, exactly.
It's so cool to watch.
Yeah.
And I keep her ambient.
Yeah.
It gets down to 60 degrees, dude, and she loves it. Like, I gotta cool them, you know what I mean? Because I'm hopefully gonna breed her this year. Gotta cool them, you know what I mean? So
yeah.
it's great.
I got my Chapalas together. I got to separate them when I feed them because it gets hectic.
Yeah. Things get
little nutcases, man.
Yeah. Whose food is that? My food's in your mouth. That's it.
Yeah.
We all been there. Yeah, I know that type of situation.
I'll give them some guppies periodically, and like there's been one or two times where they both grab the same guppy, and then it was like a Lady in the Tramp thing, and I had to like grab one.
Tough,
and
tough,
so now I just separate them.
Yeah,
Make this easy.
When I had that garter back then, when I had that checkered garter, she would so she had a couple of babies. She was really small, but she actually gave birth to 2 live babies that I raised in the same enclosure with her, and they did great. They all grew up together, apart from a few times when you throw something in there that they would both grab, and then the mom would kind of scarf down one of the babies, and then you'd have to pull it out of her stomach. But they survived. They were fine.
Yeah.
There's like no other snake that would survive that too.
Exactly.
I feel like garters, it's like they're just naturally ingrained. Like, okay, I got, I made it halfway into your stomach. Like, I'm good though. I'm covered in stomach acid, but we're fine. Like, we'll work through it.
Rub a little dirt.
Right. Right. Yeah. But we are nearing 2:45. Was there anything else you wanted to get into before we called it?
Honestly, no. You kind of crushed it. You answered a lot of questions. So that was good. That was really solid, dude.
No, really good. Yeah, no, I enjoyed it. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, man. We'll have to do
Excellent.
the Flippin' Tin guys. I'm always on the hunt for them for they're doing herping podcast stuff. So always on the hunt for people that are into that for them to hit up. And
I've got a friend of mine here locally who is really big into the Leptopeltis of this area. I mean, really everything of this area here in South Texas, and he's gone on podcasts before. I'll have to get you guys in touch. He'll probably be more than happy to come on and talk with you guys.
Cool. Well, this was episode 23 of ArachNerds, brought to you by Fulvius Apparel, fulviusapparel.com. Use the code THN at checkout. Get 15% off your order. That is the exclusive promo code for THN listeners and viewers like you. If you're going to that Manchester show, stop by the Underdark table. There's going to be
Stop by the Underdark table. Ask Grits for some Blue Lobster
shirts.
You heard it here first.
That sounds sexual.
I won't say it's not.
Oh, okay. There you go. Don't know what you're going to get, but stop by Dredge's table. See what happens. See what happens. I'm not responsible for whatever happens, but take your chances. He's going to have cool spiders. He's going to have cool shirts. And
a bunch of centipedes.
And a bunch of centipedes. And I'm sure Warren will be there with some house snakes.
I actually hope so. I hope so.
Me too. This stuff's awesome. I'm gonna need you to snag me like 3 of whatever strikes your fancy, and then send them to me for the price of on the house.
The T negative stuff is. Oh yeah, for the free 99. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have bills, so you're fine.
Like, hey Warren, hook it up. You know, blue-eyed stuff. Like, yeah, just box it up.
Make it happen.
Put on my tab. Join the Tarantula Addicts Discord. Discord.com. Discord.gg/TA rather. If you, I think some people have had problems with that URL working. I don't know for sure. I tried it and it seemed fine. If it doesn't work for you, message me or Phil, and we will send you the link. And then we'll be back Monday for Snakes and Stogies, I believe. Phil was out of town for work this week. Other Phil.
Not me.
So we'll be.
I'm in town.
Hopefully we'll be back Monday. We'll see. Carpet Fest is coming up in Tampa, February 7th. I think pretty much the entire THN gang, minus Phil King here, is going to be there. So hit us up if you want information about that as well. We'll see everybody later.
Excellent. Thank you.